I want to buy that coin of that girl that will do that thing to the person of the opposite gender. Yo, what up guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be eating some Jack in the Box burgers. We're going to look at the stock market, and then we're going to also talk about Jack in the Box, the stock. So stay tuned. Man, I hope you guys are having a good day. I am starving. It is Sunday. I had me a nice workout routine. Did some circuit training. I did eat this morning, so I didn't fast all day. But oh man, what is this thing? This thing is like some kind of bacon ultimate. It's like some kind of like bacon ultimate, man. Look at that. It's absolutely wow. Let's eat. After we eat, look at the stock market, see what it's doing, which has been doing horrific. It's been a bloodbath. And maybe this week coming up, it might even get worse, but who knows. And then just Jack in the Box is a stock, so we'll look at the numbers. This is a smash burger from Jack in the Box. Really good, man. It's real juicy. It's like dripping right there. Man, look at that thing. Absolutely dripping with grease. Absolutely delicious, man. You know, I would assume their stock is doing good since this food tastes pretty good. Man, how are they doing, man? Let's take a look. Holy shoot. They're down 41%. Man, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. But later in the video, I guess we'll take a look at the numbers and see why they're down so much this year. Here's the other bacon cheeseburger from Jack in the Box. Really soft to the touch. I think this thing is going to taste really delicious also. This is so good, man. Has anybody been paying attention to Bitcoin? It was up a lot, like after Donald Trump got elected, but I heard recently it's down like by a lot. So I'll take a look at that as well and see what was going on, right? Because Bitcoin is like, you buy Bitcoin because you think the government's going to be doing bad. So you buy Bitcoin to diversify, and government bad, decentralized currency good. So we'll take a look at that as well. I'll pull up the charts and see what's going on. Bro, this thing looks absolutely delicious. Really soft. Real juicy in the middle. This thing is really good, man. You don't need to drink any water when you're eating this stuff. Man, while I finish this, let me pull up the charts, man. That looks pretty bad. Looks pretty bad out there. All right, so as we can see on the chart there, things are looking bad to worse. The past week, we had the Trump tariffs take place. You know, it's kind of like, you know, we're going to tariff you because you guys are tariffing us. So any country that's tariffing the U.S. is going to get tariffs put on them as well. Other countries like China are retaliating. They're saying, hey, we're tariffing you, and then you're going to tariff us. Because of that, we're now going to tariff you even more. So doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, but whatever. Just politicians being politicians, you know. Who's got the bigger you know what on the world stage. As you can see there on the top, it says there the Dow futures fall 1,500 points Sunday. So futures contracts are just investments you can buy real quick to just bet of. You can bet how the market's going to do in the future. That's why it's called a future. So with the futures being down, looks like this week coming up is going to be another bad week. So year to date, the market's down. How's Jack in the Box doing year to date? Year to date, Jack in the Box is down 41.5%. That is abysmal. Horrible. If you would have started January 1 and bought a share of Jack in the Box at about $41, you would have lost almost half of your money by now so far this year. That is absolutely horrible. Like, what is going on with Jack in the Box stock? I have no idea. I'll give you a clue. I hardly ever go to Jack in the Box. The last few times I did go, they made me wait in the parking lot for like 20 minutes before I got my food. I had to go into the restaurant to be like, hey, where's my food at? So I had a really horrible experience. The only reason I'm even eating Jack in the Box today is because I wanted to do this video. But otherwise, I really try to avoid Jack in the Box, period. So, and don't even get me started about McDonald's, man. You pull into a McDonald's, you try to get a few Big Macs, and they'll tell you go wait in the waiting area. So go wait in that parking lot, space number 2 or whatever they have it. Really annoying. I really hate that stuff. That's why I hardly really get McDonald's either. Here's another chart of Jack in the Box. So, anyways, how is Jack in the Box stock doing compared to the stock market as a whole? I mean, you kind of have a hint. It looks like it's doing a lot worse than the stock market. But let's overlap the charts so we can compare directly. Well, as you can see there in the purple, the S&P 500, the S&P 500, which measures 500 of the largest stocks in the United States, 500 of the largest companies in the United States, is down 17%. From January 1st through April, where we're at right now, the stock market is down 17%. You would put $1 in there, your dollar would only be worth 83 cents at this point. Compare that to the actual chart there, Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box is down 42%. So you put $1 in Jack in the Box, your dollar's only worth about what? Somebody help me with the math. 68 cents, 58 cents or something like that. So you're losing almost half your money. So that theoretical investor would have lost a lot of money had they said, hey, I really like Jack in the Box. I'm going to invest my money in Jack in the Box. They would have been way better off just buying 500 of the biggest companies in the United States. Now, before I continue here, just to let you know, I'm not your financial advisor. Please consult a actual financial person before you embark on an investing journey. This channel is to eat and to entertain and, to educate a little bit. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about Bitcoin because I saw that Bitcoin was way down today. So I'm like, might as well just talk about it a little bit. Man, look at that. Nothing but red for all the major cryptocurrencies. But I want to dive a little deeper into Bitcoin. So let's pull up the Bitcoin chart. So Bitcoin is down so far this year. Look how far it's down so far this year since January 1. When did it hit its high point of like $106,000 per coin? I think that looks like it was somewhere around January is when it hit the highest point that it's hit so far. And so I remember, Donald Trump got elected. He said that Bitcoin was like the future. The government was going to build a Bitcoin stockpile. And then the coin took off. It shot up. But I guess things aren't moving fast enough, or Bitcoin moves along with the economy to where it's now crashing with the S&P 500. So that's compared to the S&P 500. And looks like while the S&P 500 is down 14%, Bitcoin is down 19%. So your money would have done better putting it in the stock market than into Bitcoin. Now, it kind of makes sense that Bitcoin would be doing so bad because, first of all, people buy Bitcoin thinking it's it's a currency, right? You can buy things with it. But you really can't buy anything with it. I mean, does anybody in the comments own Bitcoin, and have they bought anything with it? Let me know, right? But right now, you can't buy anything with Bitcoin, even though people say you can. You really can't. It's just really something you buy and hold it until somebody else wants to buy it for a higher price. That's all it really is. It's like a commodity. It's something that has limited supply, right? There's only a certain number of million Bitcoins that can ever be mined, right, digitally. So there's not going to be any more made. So there's like a scarcity to it, kind of like gold. There's only so much gold in the earth. They're not going to make any more. You can't make it. So, it's going to have its scarcity, right? And that's what gives part of the price. But also part of the price is just plain gambling, plain speculation. This whole thing that, it's decentralized from the government. That's kind of why people buy it. They don't want to be tied to the government. But what Donald Trump did was he pretty much tied Bitcoin to the government, because now the coin really moves with what is happening in the current administration. Maybe in future administrations, that they kind of break off and go separate. But right now, it looks like Bitcoin is going to be moving pretty much the same way that the S&P 500 is moving. And right now, it's down. So, all right. So Bitcoin is down. Stock market's down. You would have done a lot better just putting your money in the stock market than in Bitcoin. I wonder what's going on with that. Remember they were making like fart coin and like weird name coins. The fart coin was the one. So that's another thing with crypto, man. Like, you can just literally make your own crypto. That Hot Tua girl, she made a crypto. She literally made a crypto based on her saying that Hot Tua stuff. And that's like, she's describing an act that she would perform on a person of the opposite gender, right? Should they find themselves in an intimate situation. I can't even talk, sorry. Should they find themselves in an intimate situation, that's where that crypto came from. That fake money that people decided to put their money into. I want to buy that coin of that girl that will do that thing to the person of the opposite gender. I want to invest in that. So guess what happened when people put their money into that? Well, she went ahead and took her investment out. She made millions, and then the people that held their coins, it went down to zero basically. And so they got all these coins coming out. There's like a Donald Trump coin, there's a Melania coin, and man, those things have tanked as well. Like, they're basically worthless at this point. So Bitcoin just happens to be the biggest, most reputable coin out there. But, at the same time, like, these things are really volatile. When you compare it to the stock market, which people say, the stock market's like a casino. Well, it can be if you're gambling, but if you're buying, if you're diversifying properly, for an example, you're buying 500 of the largest companies in the United States or 600 of the largest companies in Europe, then you're well diversified there. Each of those companies in that index, these companies have employees. Each of these companies makes products that people buy, or they perform services that people buy. These employees innovate. They create new inventions, new products. And those products come to the market. People buy them. People buy the services. It drives the economy. Money keeps flowing in. Ideas keep getting produced, and the economy keeps growing. That's what you get with the stock market and with stocks. You get businesses that produce products and make money. You don't get that with a currency like Bitcoin. It's just a coin. You can't buy anything with it. You just buy it and cross your fingers, it goes up in value, and somebody else is going to want to buy it for you at a higher price. That's basically all it is. Anyways, as I leave you guys with this chart of the S&P 500 at where it is today, I really do think this situation is going to turn around sooner rather than later. I think all these headlines are temporary turbulence, and we'll get over it and the market will start climbing up again. Of course, I could be wrong, right? If I knew exactly what was going to happen, I'd be a billionaire right now. So anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully maybe you learned something that you didn't know before. If you can, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.